briefly?
Yes, sir. So my name is Garima. I was born and brought up in Buxar district of Bihar. Thereafter, I went on to do my graduation from Kirodimal College, University of Delhi, after which I have been preparing for the civil services. In my free time, I like to listen to podcasts, which are mostly in the self-help and self-improvement genre.
So, Garima, I was very happy to see you were awarded Best Essay on Women Empowerment by a UOL forum. So, what were the points that you mentioned in this essay on how to empower women?
Yes, sir.
Some major 3-4, very short.
Yes. So in this essay, first of all, I talked about what are the major challenges that are prevailing the situation of women in India at present. And thereafter, I tried to address them in different dimensions. For example, with respect to the political challenges, I talked about how political empowerment of women is going to change the landscape from women empowerment to women-led development. Thereafter, I also talked about the economic empowerment of women, wherein how we can take small steps to significantly increase the labor force participation rate of women. Thereafter, I also talked about what are the legal challenges prevalent and how can we address them in small ways. In the end, I also talked about the long-rooted socio-cultural issues that are prevailing at present in our society and how we can go on to address them, all of which cumulatively would help in the advancement of women in our country.
You heard something about Belt and Road Initiative?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
So Belt and Road Initiative is a global development initiative undertaken by China, wherein it is trying to revive its ancient silk routes and establishing trade and investment relations with countries all over the world.
You are the Secretary Ministry of Women Empowerment and Women and Child Development Department. All right. Now you have a desire that this Women's Reservation Bill should be brought before Lok Sabha, but the political will is otherwise. So as a Secretary, how will you try to influence, I'm using the word try to influence the decision makers to see that it gets through, it goes to the Parliament, to the Lok Sabha?
I think it would be very desirable if this happens, and if given an opportunity, I would definitely try to present them case studies from all around the world. For example, the recent New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, who did really well during COVID, I would try to convince them using that. Secondly, I would also try to convince them in terms of equality and justice that would prevail once this bill passes, because women constitute around 50% of our population, and their representation in the parliament is only 14%. Third, I would try to show them research and evidence that exists. For example, a research by Esther Duflo says that when women are in the position of policy making, then they focus more on social infrastructure, and the outcomes are not just benefiting the women, but are benefiting the entire country as a whole. So in that capacity.
Now you are in IFS, Indian Foreign Service, and you are posted in one of the cities, you are posted in Tehran, and this incidence of poisoning of girls, going to the school is taking place. So how will you try to, and obviously you will not be in favor of this, what will you do to influence the public opinion against it in a subtle manner without compromising with the foreign policy or without compromising our relations with Iran?
And this is a very tragic incident and it should not happen. In this respect, I would try to, first of all, take into confidence the influential figures in Iran. It can be the religious leaders who are not very radical but believe in equality, because they would have an appealing power there. Apart from this, I would also like to convey my message to the larger public in Iran about how the situation at present is tense, but slowly it would improve over the period of time.
Garima? Please sit down. Garima, unfortunately, you may not have much to write. Guess why?
Probably I did good.
Yeah, because there is not many things that we are going to advise. Anyway, you have done exceedingly well, Garima. So you have already mentioned that you think that you have done well, haven't you? What's your own assessment? Just two things, very shortly. Bring your communication during the interview from a relatively debate kind of mode to a conversation mode. Right? So I know you have never been a debater, but you could be a very good debater. So what I saw and others also saw, that you were making your point very effectively. That is a good point. But your entire mode was as if you are debating on a point. It's more on a baatcheet. So that is why I said, जब आप एक भी question answer नहीं दे पाए थे, मैं कहा we are discussing it. It was like a conversation. So conversation में debate तब होता है जब आप one sided बोलते जाते हो. You did not raise your hands. I'm just to explain that what is. So just see your video again when you watch. So just as much as possible, जितना भी आप change कर सकती हो. नहीं change कर सकती तो you be as natural as you were, because you have done so well. We have given you 72% for today's performance, which amount to near 200, right? So अगर कुछ भी नहीं करोगी तो तुम्हें इतना मिलना हमें लगता है निश्चित है. और अगर तुम थोड़ा सा change कर लेती हो हल्का सा, तो you will cross 200. That is for certain. That is my first point. Second, a few corrections. One about this Mahila Samman, you said 8%. It is 7.5. Now just check it. And if you are not very sure about these percentages, you should avoid it. Skip कर जाओ, कोई जरूरत नहीं है. तो परसेंट पे इतना कोई वो नहीं है, मैंने पता होना चाहिए कि हाँ. The moment you say महिला सम्मान, this हो गया तुम्हारा नंबर पक्के, right? So anything you would like to ask us?
Sir, if you permit, I would like to ask ma'am what to do in that Iran situation.
आप बताओ, मुझे तो पता नहीं. आप एम्बेसडर हो, आप अपनी गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी के बेस पे कुछ करोगे नहीं. सो ऑब्वियसली जिनके साथ आप इंटरेक्ट करते हो, योर कोलीग्स और सम डिग्नेटरीज हु विजिट यू, यू कैन जस्ट डिस्कस इन एन इनफॉर्मल मैनर. You can't do anything beyond that. You can't go to religious leaders and start talking about it. Isn't it so? You can influence the policy making in your country. Maybe they are able to play some role in that. But you have to be very cautious. No, ambassador only does what is the foreign policy of that particular country. You don't go out of the way to talk to religious leaders or leaders, political leaders, and all that. You don't do that, right?
Anything else, Garima? Nothing. So this is your second attempt and first interview. So how have you done your mains? Okay, and by how many marks you missed the mains in the first attempt? Oh, अच्छा that. So you have done well. Which was your option? Commerce and accounting. You were happy when you came out?
Yes, sir, I was very happy when I did paper 2, but paper 1, I think I could have done better.
So you must be calculating marks. How much marks you get? How much have you estimated?
So in the entire
Out of
mains,
1800.
so around 800 plus.
So Meji?
Yes, sir.
800
It's enough. It's enough.
800 में 200 जोड़ो.
Generally, sir, the toppers score around 950 to 1000.
So अगर 200 गरिमा को 200 मिल जाते हैं तो 1000 में.
Toppers में.
So Garima, हम आपको मतलब कॉम्प्लेसेंट मत होना हमारे कहने से. Only to motivate. You have already done your main. You have done too much about it. But इसमें आप बहुत अच्छा स्कोर कर लोगी. Keep this spirit on for the next 14 days. Okay.
गरिमा अभी और थोड़े ज्यादा मार्क्स मत देना. कभी कभी लास्ट मॉक का कभी कभी नेगेटिव फीडबैक की वजह से वो माइंड में रह जाता है. So go with the